So he tells them, I gotta move. First thing he does is he addresses the activity, because he tells them one word.
Here.
I want you to hear.
Yeah. All right.
Right? You can't fake your way through this.
Yes, sir.
It's a command etymologically. It's a word. It's a command. He doesn't tell them please. It's for your own good. No. With this command, he tells them, this is a command that calls for correction. But not only does he tell them to address their activity, he also makes us reevaluate our willingness to commit. When the text points out that not only should we address our activities, we also have to make measures to adjust our attention.
Okay, I got that.
When the text says, in the 4th verse, I'm still there, I ain't going nowhere. First of all, we got to address our activity. Why? Because he wants us to hear. But we got to adjust our attention when he says, I want you to hear the word.
Yeah.
Look at somebody say, that's preaching in that. That's preaching in that. Give me a shirt made. It was once said by Malcolm Little, also known as Malcolm X. Malcolm X told us that if you ever want to hide something from black folk, put it in a book. I ain't gonna lie, when I first read that, I was a little offended. Because I personally don't I'm saying that. Me personally, I love to read and I love to write.
All right.
But I'm not so offended at what Malcolm says that I'm not aware that it's a point that needs to be made, and that while too many of our children are struggling with reading and writing at their own grade level, while the admittance can be made for most individuals that is a handicap that's handed down generationally. Our teacher need to make some notes. Our children don't like to read because our parents don't like to read.
Amen. That's right.
Amen.
We don't, and to be honest with you, can I be honest? Generically, we don't like to stop still long enough to read directions. Don't worry about it. I'm going somewhere. We'll look at a box of a certain piece of furniture.
Oh, yes.
And we'll guess how they put it together by looking at the picture. Instead of reading instructions that came, but don't admit it though. This is embarrassing. I think this goes here.
We don't need that.
We don't need this part. I don't see where this part goes. Y'all are testifying. But in actuality, listen, you can learn how to cook if you follow instructions in the cookbook. If the author knows how to cook, pray, and is willing to share his or her secrets with you, you can cook like the author if you're willing to follow the instructions. You can learn how to do the equations. Mary, I don't care. I don't care if you smart. I don't care what you say. 2 plus 3 is 7. No, if you follow the instructions, you can do the equations. You can figure out the cosine, the tangent. You can figure out the logarithms and the algorithms. You can figure those things out if you read the textbook from an author who knows how to do the equation. If the author of the textbooks know how to compute the data, move the variables, solve for X, Y, Z, then you can do it the same way. Let me hear you shout, if I follow the instructions. And what happens with us is many of us screw it up because we want to rush in the process without being prepared.
That's right.
And that can be attributed to not valuing the enhancement that comes with following, with following instructions. So in the text, the Lord tells Ezekiel to command the bones to hear. In the Hebrew tongue, Shema, the word literally means to hearken. Hear means to pay attention to with the intention of cooperating with. So the implication here is that whatever I hear is also what I'm inclined to give my allegiance to.
All right.
Yes, sir. So the Lord is very specific in that we are to hear, let me hear you shout, the word. Say it a little bit louder like you believe it. Let me hear you shout, the word. Subsequently, there is not just a command for me to assess my actions. There is also the command to change what I give my attention to. And this allows me the premise, y'all be patient with me, this allows me the premise to preach upon the danger of giving your attention, giving your focus, hinging your faith on the premise that God is under obligation to show you something in order for you to respond to him the right way. The irony, if you look at the text, the irony of the text is that the Lord has placed Ezekiel in a position of having to preach in an environment where the only thing that is going to shift the scenery, tilt the terrain in the bones responding to a word in a way that they had not responded before. It's a word, listen, so there are no pictures or illustrations to look at.
All right.
It's a word. Let me hear you shout, a word. There are no diagrams, no schematics, there are no pie graphs, ain't no color to this. There's no coloring books, no graph. There's nothing extra. It's a word. And for people who orient themselves according to what they see, this is going to be a problem. If you got folk who have to see the benefit in doing it before they will actually engage themselves in it, this is for people who hang their success upon what they're able to see with their physical eyes, it's going to be a problem. Because in the text, this word is not something you see. This has got to be a word that you hear. Let me hear you shout, hear the word, hear it. Yes, sir, because this word means that there are no signs, there are no things to see. There's no physical manifestation. There is no physical or tangible evidence. The mandate is that the wonders will show up once the word has been obeyed. Yeah. And some of you have been waiting on God to show you before you go. Let me say that one more time. There's some people have been waiting on God to show them some. Lord, you got to show me a sign. You got to show me. You got to show me. I got to know what's up. You got to show me a sign. But the truth of it is, my brothers and my sisters, the Masoretic text, when Abraham took Isaac up on the mountain, he says, go to a place in Moriah that I will show you. In the Masoretic text, he didn't tell him where to go. He told him what to do, watch this, before he showed him where to go. And sometimes, my brothers and my sisters, sometimes the Lord will mandate that the level of your allegiance, the level of your attention and your affection, predicated will be upon how you are willing to follow him one step at a time. Ain't that what they said? One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking of you. Won't you give me the strength to do every day what I have to do? Because yesterday is gone. Sweet Jesus. Preach anyway. And tomorrow may never be mine. So now, for my sake, just teach me to take one day at a time. I don't know what's going to happen in February. I don't know what's going to happen on my mama's birthday. I don't know what's going to happen on my birthday. All I'm doing is in the midst of COVID, I'm trusting in one day at a time. In the midst of civil and political unrest, I'm trusting in one day at a time. In the midst of my baby girl being born and COVID not supposed to die out to 2022, I'm doing it one day at a time. I'm trusting him with my brother's life. I'm trusting him with my mama's life. I'm trusting him with my wife's life. I'm trusting him with your life. One day, y'all ain't hearing me preach. One day at a time. Can you thank God that you're not a fortune teller? I don't need no 8-ball. You got a question, ask the 8-ball. I don't need no 8-ball. I don't need Miss Cleo. I don't need no fortune teller. I don't need to call 188 psychic. I don't need all of that because I serve a God who, if you follow him one day at a time, he'll turn you into Enoch. And the Bible said that Enoch walked with God. Didn't tell us where y'all hear me preaching. Didn't tell him where he went. He just walked with God. Wherever God walked, that's where Enoch walked. Didn't tell us where he went. Didn't tell us if we were in Palestine or Ephraim or Manasseh. Didn't tell us if he was in Jerusalem or the Transjordan. Didn't tell us if he walked by the Sea of Galilee or the Mediterranean. Didn't tell us where he walked. All it said was that Enoch walked with God. And it said the next verse that he walked with him so long that he knew not death. Let me help y'all in here. There'll be some things that if you walk with God, you won't have to go. There's some things that when you walk with God, Jeanette, you won't have to go through. There's some things things that he'll take you over that other folk have to go through if you walk with God. Every step I'm doing it one day at a time. Is there anybody around this house who feel like I feel, and you don't have to know what tomorrow holds, but you figured it out. You configured within yourself cerebrally. You've arrived at a conscientious and convicting conclusion without a shadow of a reasonable doubt that as long as I'm walking with him, I'm gonna be all right. Look at somebody and salute them and smile at them like you're trying to get them into heaven on credit, and tell them, say, neighbor, I'm walking with him one day at a time. I'm going to talk with him. I'm going to sing for the heavenly king, but I'm going to take it one day at a time without any money, one day at a time. Bills stacked this high, one day at a time. Doctor's reports, one day at a time. Folks staying at home and scared to come out the house, one day at a time. Is there anybody around here who can give God a shout for the fact that I love him enough? Can you testify that I love him enough? I trust him enough to take it one day